What if your dream car was trapped at the bottom of the ocean? Imagine for a moment that you have just purchased your dream car, a sleek Porsche or a luxurious Bentley. You eagerly await its arrival, counting down the days until you can take it out for its first spin. But what if instead of pulling into your driveway, your car ended up at the bottom of the ocean, trapped inside a burning ship? From the tricolor collision in the English Channel to the Golden Ray capsizing in St. Simon's Sound, these harrowing tales of maritime tragedy reveal the risks inherent in the global transportation of vehicles. Join us as we dive into the ocean of the world's largest carrier ship disasters, exploring the causes and consequences. The tricolor disaster. This Norwegian-flagged car carrier, laden with nearly 3,000 luxury vehicles, collided with the Kariba, a container ship, in thick fog. The impact was devastating, causing the tricolor to capsize and sink rapidly in just 30 meters of water. Miraculously, all 24 crew members were rescued unharmed, but the ship's cargo was doomed. The wreck posed a significant hazard to navigation, leading to the closure of the busy shipping lane for several days. Despite safety measures and French naval warnings, the disaster was far from over. On January 1, 2003, the Turkish tanker Vicky, carrying 70,000 tons of gasoline and 2,000 tons of heavy fuel, collided with the tricolor wreck at full speed. The impact caused extensive damage to both vessels, and the Vicky began leaking hydrocarbons from its ruptured tanks. The consequences of the oil spill were devastating for the local marine ecosystem. More than 1,000 seabirds, including guillemots and razorbills, were found dead or damaged by the oil. The Royal Society for the Protection of Birds estimated this toll. The Hoek Osaka disaster. It was a tale of maritime tragedy that unfolded in the treacherous waters of the Solent off the coast of England. On January 3, 2015, pure car and truck carrier Hoek Osaka departed Southampton, UK, bound for Bremerhaven, Germany, carrying a cargo of buses and cars. The ship's itinerary had been modified, with Southampton serving as the last port before Hamburg and Bremerhaven. As it entered the Thorn Channel, the pilot requested an increase in speed, which would prove to be a fateful decision. As the ship turned to port around Bramblebank, it developed a significant starboard list, exceeding 40 degrees. The vessel lost steerage and propulsion, drifting aground on the bank. The crew, numbering 25, was safely evacuated, but the ship's cargo suffered significant damage, with over 400 units affected. The investigation revealed that the ship's stability had not been accurately calculated before departure, despite the modification in its itinerary. The cargo distribution with upper decks full and lower decks lightly loaded contributed to the vessel's instability. The MV Cougar Ace disaster. It was the 23rd day of July 2006 when the Singaporean-flagged roll-on roll-off car carrier Cougar Ace set sail from Japan bound for Vancouver, Canada, carrying a cargo of 4,812 new Mazda and Isuzu vehicles. The ship was designed to transport massive quantities of vehicles, but its stability was put to the test as it navigated through the waters. As the ship underwent a routine ballast water exchange operation, it suddenly lost stability and fell to an astonishing 60 degrees. The crew, numbering 23, was safely evacuated, but the ship remained afloat, drifting towards the shore. The investigation revealed that the ship's stability was compromised due to improper planning and execution of the ballast water exchange operation. The officer in charge failed to maintain stability throughout the operation, and the shipboard procedures concerning ballast water operations were inadequate. The MV Hyundai Fortune disaster. On March 21, 2006, Hyundai Fortune was en route from China and Singapore to Europe via the Suez Canal. The ship was carrying a cargo of 5,151 containers, including 7 containers loaded with fireworks, when disaster struck. At around 12:35 Coordinated Universal Time, an explosion of unknown origin occurred below deck, causing 60 to 90 containers to fall into the ocean. The explosion ignited a fire that spread rapidly through the stern of the ship, including the accommodation and the container stacks in front of the accommodation. Secondary explosions followed as the fireworks containers ignited above deck on the stern. The blaze was so intense that it blew out a large section of the hull below deck, but above the waterline on the port side. The combined cost of the ship and lost cargo was estimated at over $800 million. The ship was eventually towed to China for final repairs and refurbishing, including the replacement of 5,000 tons of new steel and a new accommodation block. The vessel was repaired at COSCO Zhoushan Shipyard in Liuhendao Island in China in 2007-2008. In the course of the repairs, the stern tube was confirmed to be nearly 100 millimeters lower than the main engine thrust sightline. With the technical assistance of Technitas of Bureau Veritas and BF Consultant of France, the ship repair yard straightened the hull and brought the stern tube back in line for it to be finally machined at a later stage of the rebuilding of the vessel. The vessel was eventually delivered to its owner and resumed its activity as a container carrier. In 2018, she was scrapped in Alang, the MV Golden Ray disaster. On September 8, 2019, the Golden Ray set sail from the port of Brunswick, carrying a cargo of over 4,000 vehicles. The ship was designed to transport massive quantities of vehicles, but its stability was put to the test as it navigated through the waters. As the ship exited the port, it began to list to the port side, a sign of impending disaster. The ship remained afloat, drifting towards the shore. The investigation revealed that the ship's stability was compromised due to the way it was loaded. The vessel lacked the righting energy to recover from the list, and the cargo was not properly secured. The ship's ballast tanks were not properly filled, and the crew failed to take necessary precautions to ensure the vessel's stability. The MV Golden Ray disaster resulted in significant losses. The total insurance losses were estimated to be around $1 billion, with the hull loss valued at $62.5 million and the cargo loss at $142 million. Additionally, the salvage costs are believed to be far higher, potentially exceeding $842 million. The Felicity Ace disaster. Felicity Ace set sail from Emden, Germany, carrying a cargo of over 4,000 luxury cars. As the ship navigated through the waters, a fire broke out on one of its cargo decks, engulfing the vessel in flames. The crew of 22 was safely evacuated by the Portuguese Air Force and Navy, but the ship itself was left to drift, burning out of control. The fire was so intense that it required specialized firefighting equipment, which was not available on board. The disaster was a significant blow to the global supply chain, particularly in the automobile sector. The ship was carrying a cargo valued at over $400 million, including over 1,100 Porsche and 189 Bentley vehicles. The incident exacerbated existing supply chain issues, including labor shortages and semiconductor shortages, which had already been affecting the industry. The fire was brought under control by a 16-person rescue team from Smith Salvage, but not before it had caused significant damage to the ship. The vessel was eventually towed to the Azores, where it capsized on March 1, 2022, during salvage operations. The incident highlighted the importance of ensuring safety and stability in maritime operations, particularly in the transport of high-value cargo. So, these are some world's largest carrier ship disasters. Which of them did you find most devastating? Do tell us in the comments and also subscribe to the channel for more thrilling videos like this.